Well, hello there. My name is Beth Gaff, and I am the technology trainer here at the Peabody Public Library in Columbia City, Indiana. And today we're going to be switching gears a little bit in regards to some of the classes that I do. I've had a lot of lately been working with people on managing money and things that they can do to try to help them save money, especially during the holiday season or thereafter. So today we're going to be talking about everything that involves managing money, getting some smart tips for that, and so on. So if you have any questions, or anything like that in regards to saving money, you can email me at the email provided within this class, or you can give me a phone call. Just so you know, this class is geared to go at your pace, which means that you are not set in stone to sit here through the entire thing. You can skim and skip and go ahead as you so desire to get into those areas that pertain a little bit more to you, or maybe all of this pertains to you. And if that's the case, then you would want to start from the beginning and go to the end. But without further ado, welcome to Managing Money. So here's what we're going to cover in class today, and we may go off subject slightly in some of these areas, but for the most part, this is what we're going to be kind of gearing towards. And that's going to be some of those problem solving strategies that are geared towards saving money. How do you manage money? Creating a fitting budget, also using a sample budget worksheet, understanding what credit is, staying out of debt, some banking options that are available to you, including managing a checking and savings account, being able to plan for your retirement, financial anxiety, and what can be done about that, living within your means. What is the cost of that dream job that you so desire? We're going to wrap up this class, take a short quiz, and of course, like always, give you props and thanks. So this is what we are going to be covering during class today. Okay, so let's tackle some of the financial problem solving strategies that we can make for ourselves. Have you ever experienced a financial problem? Do you feel like finances are holding you back from reaching your goals? So, in this part of the class, we'll give a brief overview of general problem solving process and how to apply it to the most common financial problems. So, the problem solving process. So, let's first take a look at a general problem solving process that you can apply to any situation, not just a financial one. First, you want to identify the problem. The first step in solving problem is to identify it. What exactly do you need to overcome? Then you need to make a plan. What are the steps you need to take in order to overcome the problem? Implement the plan. This step actually puts the plan you created in place. While it sounds fairly straightforward, this is usually the most difficult step. And then evaluate the plan. Although this is listed last, this step might actually occur simultaneously with implementing the plan. Things happen and circumstances change, so you need to reevaluate your plan as it is happening. So let's start with identifying the problem. The first step in problem solving process is to get to the root of the problem and understand what you need to overcome. So I've created a list of the most common financial problems that you may face. So lack of income or a job loss, unexpected expenses, too much debt, need for financial independence, overspending or lack of a budget, bad credit, or lack of savings. When thinking about these common problems, each one falls into one of three areas. You either need more money, you need to reduce your debt, or you need to change how you spend. So let's start with making a plan. After identifying the problem you need to overcome, it's time to make a plan. Not sure where to start? No worries. I've got you covered with some tips and places to begin. So, problem one, you need more money. Whether you've lost your job, met an unexpected expense, or are working or becoming more from financially independent, a form of income is necessary. If you're looking for additional work or maybe just a better paying job, take some time to update your resume and cover letter. Make sure that they are neat, up to date, with your most current information and free of spelling and grammar errors. Be wary of any advertisements or jobs that offer fast, easy money. A lot of quick cash methods come with unintended consequences. More often than not, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Problem two, you need to reduce your debt. With high interest rates or the need to live paycheck to paycheck, high debt can be very, very stressful for us. Sometimes it feels like climbing into a never ending mountain with an invisible peak. However, by prioritizing and negotiating your debt, you can make it more manageable. Try listing all of your debt and interest rates associated with each. Focus on paying off the ones with the highest interest rates first. If you're having trouble making payments, call the loan company. See if it can offer any solutions for you. The company may be able to lower your interest rate or offer a temporary forbearance to help you get back on your feet. If you need more help tracking your debt, then you may want to contact a professional debt counselor like a consolidated credit place. Problem three, you need to change how you spend. Going from financial problems to healthy financial status often requires organization and a shift in thinking. Avoiding overspending, building your savings, and gaining financial independence can often be accomplished with good spending habits. The first thing you may want to try is creating a budget. There are many templates and resources available to you to create one. Sticking to one can be challenging, but simply having a budget laid out can help you see where you need to start spending less. In addition to your budget, creating a savings plan. Start out small. Even putting away an extra dollar or two here and there can make a big difference. Also, try placing your savings in a place you cannot easily access it. For example, creating savings account at a bank you don't usually bank. The more difficult it is to access your money, the less likely you are to spend it. And now that you've got all this together, we need to implement that plan. Although the explanation of this part is the simplest, this is often the most difficult part to actually execute. It requires self-discipline and perseverance. The most important part of this step is to know that if your plan doesn't work or if you have a difficult time sticking to it, all is not lost. If it happens, move on to the next step. Evaluate your plan and then repeat the process. Overcoming financial obstacles can require changing your lifestyle, and this does not happen overnight. However, just having a plan itself can help give you confidence and reassurance that you can eventually overcome whatever it is that's in your way. Then you need to evaluate your plan. As you implement your plan, you'll need to continually evaluate it. Maybe something happens and your original plan needs to change. Perhaps you've learned more along the way and realized that your original plan was incomplete. Or maybe your first plan went as planned and was a success. No matter the circumstance, it is always good to look back and reevaluate. Try answering these questions when evaluating. Was your problem solved? Did a new problem arise? What went right? What went wrong? What circumstances changed? Was there anything you didn't account for? What was easy about implementing your plan? And what was difficult about implementing your plan? So, in conclusion, financial obstacles can often seem debilitating and impossible to overcome. They often create a significant source of financial anxiety. I hope that this lesson will help you give you the confidence to take on your problem one step at a time and so you can conquer that anxiety and move forward. So where does your money go? So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to recognize how to manage money, judge if it's time to change the way you manage money, identify steps you can take to better manage money, and set yourself financial goals and objectives. Every day you make choices about how, where, and when you will spend your money. These choices have a significant effect on your financial life. Do you spend a lot of money or credit card debt each month? Do you save money regularly? Do you treat yourself to things after a rough week at work? So that's just some things to ask. Now, so where does your money go? If you don't keep track of your expenses, you don't know how you spend your money. When you know where your money goes, you feel more in control. So let's take some time to think about your spending and ask yourself these questions. Do I have a good idea of how much I spend each week or month? Do I take care of essentials first, such as food, utilities, rent, medical insurance, before spending money on other things? Do I have a huge balance on my credit card? Am I a savvy shopper? Do I save money regularly? Do I have 3 months of living expenses saved? Do I have specific goals I'm planning for financially? So, changing the way that you spend your money. So, when accessing how you manage your money, you might want to change your spending and saving habits. Being able to better manage your money will help you prepare for the future. Bad money management habits can sometimes be difficult to break. To tackle an undesirable habit, consider the following. When do I get out of debt? When do I get out of it? If you spend a lot of money but save just a little, what do you get out of it? You get to enjoy stuff, whether it's one more pair of black shoes to add to your 5 pairs you already own or a new big screen TV. What's the negative? If you go on a shopping spree and don't pay your electric bill, you gain temporary stuff but may lose an important surface. If you don't save money, what could happen if an emergency arises? If you look at it this way, you may realize you're not making a good choice. Think before you spend. Each time you spend money, you're making a choice. Your choices should reflect your values and financial goals. Before spending, ask yourself, do I need it? Can I afford it? And what is this purchase really costing me? Find a good habit. If you want to get rid of a bad habit related to money management, replace it with a good habit. For example, instead of overspending on designer clothes, start setting aside money for a down payment on a house or other goal. You must truly want to get rid of the bad habit, and you must practice and work at it in order for it to change. So here's 8 steps to better manage your money. So as you work toward managing your money more effectively, keep these steps in mind. Number one, plan ahead. Write down your goals and objectives. It's important to be realistic. Will you more likely be able to afford a $200,000 house or the one that costs $100,000 or less? Review your goals and objectives regularly to see if you're on the right track. Create a budget. Make a plan for how you will spend and save money. Update it regularly and evaluate your goals. Think about your financial situation, where you need to be, and determine how you're going to get there. You'll learn more about creating a budget in the next lesson. Keep good records. It's difficult to get your finances under control if you don't understand the basics of good record keeping. Keeping track of your bills, checks, and other financial transactions is important. Number 4, stay insured. Purchase insurance. Avoid being hit with financial loss due to accident or illness. It's an important part of your financial plan. Number 5, stay focused. You'll need patience and discipline to start your financial plan and follow through with it. Don't be tempted to overspend. Number 6, save more. It's important to save money regularly so you can use it in the future. Begin by faithfully saving a small amount. If you're able to save enough money, you will be able to put some into investments, use it in emergencies, or use it to reach your goals. Number 7, educate yourself. No one can protect you from your own bad judgment. Get the information you need to avoid financial trouble and make thoughtful decisions that can improve your financial security. Number 8, take time. Set aside time each month to work on your money management. Pick a time that works for you. Set as early in the morning when everyone else is asleep or quiet time at night. You will find that it's time well spent. So let's move on to some goal setting ideas. So goal setting is an important part of success. Whether you're aspiring to reach objectives at school, at work, or in personal life, aim too high and you may get frustrated and give up. Aim too low and you may not push yourself to reach your full potential. Think about your financial goals and how you plan to reach them. So here's some ideas. What do you want your financial picture to look like in 1 year, in 5 years, or in 10 years? Do you want to buy a car or a house, start a business, or pay off a debt? What do you need to change to reach your goals? How can you make the best use of your money? Don't worry, you may have all the answers now, but this lesson and this course can help you clearly define the financial goals and help you to take steps to achieve them. Here's another slide of those 8 steps to better manage your money. I've got them listed here 1 through 8, and we've already gone over them, but just so you have a hard copy of them, here they are for you. Here's a copy of that goals worksheet that I was talking to you about. What do you want your financial picture to look like in a year, 5 years, 10 years? Buying a car, business, staying out of debt, getting those goals. So, this is what it looks like, and you can actually get online and print out one that may meet your needs a little bit better. But being able to set your goal, what do you need to achieve that goal? And think about when you want that goal to be achieved. So, this is just an example of what that goal worksheet looks like. Now, we're going to talk about creating a budget. So, by the end of this segment of the class, you should be able to create a budget and take steps in reducing and spending. So, a budget is a planning tool that helps you keep track of how you spend your money. It includes an estimate of your expenses and the way you expect to pay for them. A budget is based on your income, which is the money you earn or receive, and your expenses, which is the money you spend for food, utilities, and anything else. So just remember to, when you're creating a budget, you can print out a budget worksheet, which I will include in this class as well for you to see. You have limited access to a printer, use a sheet of paper or a spreadsheet application such as Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. Determine your totally monthly income by adding your monthly take-home pay and any other income such as alimony, child support, anything like that to review. You can add by multiplying it um, into your total. So any kind of total monthly income. List all your expenses, including rent or mortgage, car payments, groceries, entertainment. Some of these expenses are the same amount each month, while others vary. For those that vary, try to budget a set amount for each month. Review past bills and receipts to determine an amount you spent each month. So then in number 4, you want to subtract your expenses from your total monthly income, and you can use a calculator to calculate your budget. Ideally, your expenses should not exceed your income. Based on how much money you have left after expenses, decide what percent of your monthly income you want to save each month. It's recommended that you save 10% if you can. However, determine the amount that's best for you. So, a sample budget, I'm going to flip this off and I'm going to put it into a video so we can see it a little bit better. As far as what a sample budget looks like. So I'm gonna flip us out of this and into a video. Okay, so I have taken us out of that and brought us into a sample budget, and we're going to take a look at Vanessa's budget and what she's doing here, and then we're going to take a look at our own budget versus that. So let's look at how Vanessa creates her budget. Vanessa's monthly paycheck earnings after taxes is $1,733. She also receives $400 per month in alimony from her ex-husband. She adds that to her monthly paycheck earnings to get a total monthly income of $2,133. Sounds great, right? Well, Vanessa wants to see how much she might save if she saves 10% of her monthly income. So she calculates $2,133 times 0.10 to get $213.30. If she saves this amount regularly at the end of the year, she can save approximately $2,559. Instead, she decides to save $300 per month or $3,600 per year. Next, Vanessa adds up her fixed expenses. Rent is $800, fixed meaning nothing you can do to change it. It is what it is, and this is what you owe. So her rent is $800, her car payment's $250, her cable's $40, her internet's $35, and her insurance is $30. So that's a total of $1,155. She decides to set her variable, which is a fluctuating expense, meaning not always the same, set in stone, which includes utilities, phone, grocery, entertainment, and car maintenance at $600 per month. Vanessa subtracts her total expense of $2,055 from her total monthly income of $2,133, and she gets $78. That's $78 that remains in her cash. Because Vanessa will likely have some money left over after taking care of expenses, she decides to put a bit more back in savings. So this is what her budget looks like. So when you're finished, you can print out your own budget. And I kind of want to get to be a wise consumer. You can help stay within your budget. Here are some cost cutting tips right here for you. Look for ways to reduce spending. Consider a less expensive telephone. Plan use coupons when you shop and dine out. Search for best buys. Sometimes it's better to spend time than money. Be aware of where your money is going. Plan ahead to better handle unexpected expenses. Look for free items. Borrow books, CDs, and videotapes from the library rather than buying or renting them. Exercise at home or use public exercise facilities instead of purchasing an expensive health club membership. Consider shopping at thrift stores, consignment shops, and other places that sell used items. Don't pay for services you can do yourself. Say no to impulse shopping. Ask yourself if you really need an item or if there's something else you want more. If you can, avoid using credit cards. Buying on credit ties up future income. Watch out for money drainers or items you buy on a regular basis that can eat up sizable chunk of your income. For example, 50 cents per day for a can of soda can add up to $180 per year. Think about things you can buy regularly that may be money drainers, such as snacks, magazines, coffees, things along those lines. So that is all about creating a budget. We went over somebody else's budget. I was actually looking for the budget sheet. Here it is. I'm going to open a budget sheet so we can take a look at it. I do have this on another, oh, it took me out of it where you're seeing it anyway. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get us back in. Okay, well, it should be on there, but I'm not seeing it. We'll see what happens when I'm done here. But here is the budget and how you can utilize and fill out those items. Salary, salary spouse, supports, payments, public, other, gas. But there are tons of these online, so. All right, so I'm going to get out of this now, and here, no, I want to minimize you. Okay, here's our budget. I don't think you saw it before, so here's our budget. This is the budget worksheet: income, resources, total monthly savings, transportation, housing, groceries, childcare, medical, insurance, clothing, and not all of this is going to pertain to you, only bits and pieces of it. So, and you'd be able to find those online all over the place. So hopefully you have a better understanding of your budget as well as expenses that go along with that budget. And the next slide is this budget report. So that should be helpful to you. If I can get it to come, there we go. So the next one should be on there. This is just a hard copy of that budget worksheet, so you're able to kind of take a little bit more of a look at it, but also keep in mind that you are able to get online and just type in a budget worksheet, and you're going to get a lot of the different samples for that, as well as a goals worksheet that we've already talked about. So there's different kinds to kind of get you going on all that. Okay, so this slide is pretty busy, but I think that it's going to do, or I think it's pretty self-explanatory as well. So even though it's a little bit busy, I'm going to be talking a lot, so you're going to be able to hear a little bit more about what that all entails. So we're going to talk about what credit is. So, credit is a contractual agreement that allows you to receive a loan and pay it back later. There are three types of credit accounts. You can have credit cards, which are banks, gas and oil companies. Department stores typically issue credit cards based on a revolving credit agreement. This means you can either pay the full amount due each month or make minimum payment, which is an amount less than what you owe. And then there's charge cards. With charge cards and charge accounts, you promise to pay the balance in full each month. There are no limits and no interest payments on a charge card as long as you pay the balance each month. But you will be charged expensive interest fees if you do not pay on time. And then you have installment loans, and these are automobiles, furniture, major appliances are often financed via an installment agreement. You can agree to pay back a fixed amount in equal payments over a certain period of time, usually along with interest. Many people get credit cards to pay for goods and services. If you pay the full amount you owe when your credit card bill arrives, you can avoid paying extra fees. However, if you only make the minimum payment, the interest or finance charges, this is the amount you pay for using the credit, can build up significantly. The more money you owe on your credit card, the higher the finance charges will be. Let's say you bought a fancy TV that cost $1,000 on a credit card with a 15% interest rate. Depending on how long you take to pay off your credit card balance, you could spend hundreds of dollars in interest. So if your monthly payment is $100, it's going to take you 11 months to pay it off. Um, with seven with interest paid at $74.91, your total cost of that loan now is $1,074.91. So it just depends on what your interest rate is. So to avoid getting credit card debt, no one or no do one or more of the following. Pay off your cards with the highest finance charges first. Pay more than the minimum payment required each month if possible. Use cash to make purchases if possible. Use a card only in emergencies or when necessary, such as for car rental. If you use a credit card, pay the full amount each month instead of letting finance charges occur. Replace higher rate credit cards with lower rate ones. Be sure to read and evaluate credit card offers carefully to make sure you're getting the best deal. Often, low introductory offers allow you time to pay off your card balances. However, make sure that a 0% interest rate doesn't climb to 19% or higher in a few months. The interest rate can make a significant difference in how much you pay for an item. If you purchase a $1,000 item and paid $30 each month on the various interest rate, here's what could happen. The monthly payment of $30, interest rate of 20%, it's going to take you 4 years and 1 month with the interest paid, and the total cost of the loan is $1,471.80. If you're considering getting a credit card, shop around for one that best fits your needs and won't leave you struggling financially. Check with your local bank, evaluate offers you might get in the mail, visit the websites of major credit card companies, and check out other online resources. Look for cards that have low interest rates, no annual fees, and a grace period. So what do these terms mean? Interest rates on credit cards change over time. Variable rate cards are linked to changes in other interest rates such as prime rate, fixed rate. Cards are not directly linked to changes in other interest rates. An annual fee is an annual charge similar to a membership fee. A grace period is a time, usually 25 days, during which you can pay your credit card bill without paying a finance charge. A grace period usually only applies if you pay your balance in full each month. It does not apply to cash advances or if you carry a balance forward. You might also consider cards that offer extras for using them. Some cards offer cash back for purchases, frequent flyer miles, internet access. However, be careful. These cards may require you to make large purchases before you can take advantage of these incentives. Never base your credit card decisions solely on possible incentives. Make sure you totally understand a plan's terms before you accept a credit card. So, other types of cards. If you're having trouble keeping track of your spending, consider a secured card. Some banks offer secured cards. You deposit a certain amount into the card to serve as collateral. You can then get a Visa MasterCard with a credit limit equal to the amount in the bank. The money must remain in the account while you have the card. The downside is that secure cards usually come with a higher interest rate and annual fees. One advantage to a secure card is that if you show that you are responsible with a secure card, issuers may be more likely to consider you for a traditional credit card. A debit card. Most banks offer debit cards in addition to traditional checking accounts. This card also features the Visa or MasterCard logo, but the money is drawn directly from your bank account. Because the money comes out of your account shortly after you use the card, keep track of your spending just as if you were writing a check. Some banks charge an annual or monthly fee for debit cards. So, what can you do to protect your credit cards? Protect your credit cards and account numbers to prevent unauthorized use by taking these steps. Don't give your card number over the phone unless you have initiated the call. Make sure you're giving it to a reputable company or organization. Never lend your credit card to anyone. Never give your credit card number to someone for the purpose you do not understand. Keep a record in a safe place separate from your cards of your account numbers, expiration dates, and phone numbers of each issuer. This will enable you to report a loss quickly. Limit the number of credit cards you have and cancel any inactive cards. Carry only the cards you think you'll use. If carbon paper is used, make sure to get the carbon or that it gets destroyed. When you sign a sales slip, draw a line through any blank spaces above the total line to keep other charges from being added. Keep your receipts to check charges when your bill arrives. You have a right to question any unfamiliar charges. Never leave your credit card in a purse or wallet that is unattended or in an open view in a vehicle, even if the vehicle is locked. Before throwing them away, shred any documents and receipts that show your credit card number. Shred any offers of pre-approved credit cards before throwing them away. If you don't receive your credit card statement on time, notify the company immediately. A credit report is an overview of your financial life. It lists in great detail information about how much you owe, any loans you have defaulted on, and late payments. It may also reveal whether you've been arrested or sued or have had filed bankruptcy. It is the content of your credit report that makes up your credit rating, also known as a credit score. And I believe that we're going to be talking a little bit more about reviewing your credit a little bit later in this class. So for now, I'm going to leave on that note on what is credit and what can you do about maintaining good credit. So what can you do to try to keep yourself staying out of debt? Debt is money owed to a person or an entity that must be paid off by a deadline. Mortgage loans, student loans, car loans, and credit card balances are all types of debt. So cutting expenses, taking other steps to better manage your money can help you get out and avoid debt. At some point in your life, it's likely that you'll have debt. But how do you know if you have too much debt? On an average, your annual debt payments, including car payments, credit cards, and bank loans, should ideally be no more than 20% of your annual take-home income. This 20% debt guideline does not include rent or mortgage cost, which can be 30% on their own. So for an example, Michael's annual take-home income is $30,000 a year. Does he carry a reasonable amount of debt? To calculate whether he falls under the 20%, list monthly debt payments. This includes your $250 car payment, credit card payments of $60 and $50 each, and a $120 student loan payment. Add up all your debt payments for 1 month, then multiply it by 12 to determine. Michael's total monthly debt payment is $480 or $5,760 annually. Calculate whether debt payments exceed 20% of annual take-home pay. To calculate 20%, multiply 0.20 by 30,000 to get 6,000. Michael's annual debt payments of $5,760 do not exceed the recommended 20% limit for his income of $6,000. However, he probably shouldn't take any more debt if he can avoid it. If your debt far exceeds the 20% rule, you may be a compulsive debtor. According to Debtors Anonymous, here are some other signs of compulsive indebtedness. Unclear financial situation, not knowing account balances, monthly expenses, loan interest rates, fees, fines, and obligations. Poor savings habits, not planning for taxes, retirement, or other predictable items, then feeling surprised when they come due. Compulsive shopping, which I think I might be a little guilty of, being unable to pass on what happens to be a good deal, making impulsive purchases, leaving price tags on clothes so that they can be returned. I don't do that. And not using purchased items. Difficulty in meeting basic financial or personal obligations, an inability to pay bills, and an inordinate sense of accomplishment when such obligations are met. Always dealing with a financial crisis, using one credit card to pay another, bouncing checks, living paycheck to paycheck, taking risks with health and car insurance coverage, writing checks without knowing your check's account balances, overworking or under-earning, working extra hours to earn money to pay creditors, taking jobs below your skill and educational level, living in a self-imposed deprivation, denying basic needs in order to pay creditors, a false feeling of hope, the belief that someone will take care of you if necessary so you won't get the serious financial trouble. If you are struggling with debt, seek help. Look for resources in your community and review the resources at the end of the lesson, which I will tell you about. Credit counseling and debt consolidation. There's plenty of agencies out there that can help you with trying to consolidate debt and to try to help you get yourself back on a reasonable debt. If you can't find an office in your area, the NFCC suggests asking the following questions to help you choose another qualified credit counseling service. Is this agency a nonprofit organization? How much will these services cost? Are agency services confidential, and what types of services are offered? Are the counselors and agencies certified? Are budget and credit education opportunities offered? Will my funds be protected? If you have a serious problem with accruing debt, consider joining Debtors Anonymous. The Fellowship of Men and Women share their expenses, strengths, and hope with each other as they work to recover compulsive indebtedness. The only requirement for membership is to desire to stop incurring debt. No dues or fees are required. And of course, there's 3 types of different bankruptcies that you can get involved with: Chapter 13, Chapter 11, and Chapter 7. We are not going to go into every bit of the debt, but here are some tips for staying out of debt. Consider taking one or more of the following steps to help pay off debt or stay out of debt. With your credit cards, stop paying high interest rates. Try consolidating them. Stop using credit cards if possible. Try to cut those things up and use money. If you have savings, consider using some of it to pay off your debt. And of course, your student loans, consider consolidating those loans so they're not all over the place. You can have so many loans under so many. So here are the benefits of staying out of debt. Debt is not a bad thing. It is how people manage debt that gets them in trouble. There are several benefits of not getting too deep into debt. Debt can drain your cash. Once you free yourself of debt, chances are you will have more money to spend on things you want or enjoy without having to worry about interest payments. Mishandling debt can lead to a bad credit history. This can have a negative impact in you applying for a job or attempting to obtain a home loan. Managing your debt wisely can put you in good financial position. Being in debt can be stressful. It can strain relationships at home and possibly affect your work. So, in essence, becoming debt free or paying down your debt could make your life so much easier. Here are those tips for staying out of debt. I went over them briefly, but here they are for you to be able to see as somewhat of a hard copy so you can see exactly what I was talking about. Stop paying the high interest, consolidating, stop using them, using a savings account instead, and of course, if you have student loans, being able to consolidate those. All right, so let's talk about banking, checking, savings. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to recognize how banks operate and how deposits are protected, being able to calculate interest, judge which banking options best fits your needs, recognizing the difference between a bank and a credit union. So what is a bank? A bank is an organization that receives deposits, honors checks drawn on those deposits, and pays interest on them. Banks also make loans and invest in securities. Um, a bank account helps you protect and manage your money. Banks offer three main types of accounts: checking, savings, and combination accounts. Such as accounts allow you to write checks, to pay bills, or buy products, helps you save money for the future, and assists you in building a credit record. You'll learn more about different bank accounts later in the lesson. How do banks operate and how is your money protected? Banks profit from the difference in the interest rates paid on deposits and charged on loans. In other words, the bank uses the money you deposit to a loan out to loan out. It charges a higher interest rate on loans. It pays out to you an interest on your account. Banks also make money by charging service fees and earn income for securities and investments. Banks provide a safe place to put your money. Even in the case of a robbery, it's the bank's loss, not yours. This is because banks carry private banking insurance to protect deposits in the case of burglary, robbery, or vandalism. Also in the United States, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, insures most bank or savings institution deposits. The FDIC is an independent U.S. agency that protects the nation's money supply in case of financial institution failure. The FDIC typically insures savings deposits, checking deposits, certificate of deposit, and cashier's checks. So let's learn a little bit about interest. So if you borrow money from a bank or other institution, you must pay interest on that loan. In this case, interest is the amount of paid for the use of the money. So for example, if you pay interest when you obtain a mortgage loan or put charges on a credit card, when you deposit money into a bank, interest is the return earned on an investment. The bank pays you interest for allowing it to temporarily use your money to loan to others. While some checking accounts pay interest, banks primarily attract customers by paying interest and money kept in a savings accounts. Interest is calculated as a rate, such as 5% or 10%. The amount of interest you earn on savings account is determined by multiplying the principal, which is the money you deposit, by the rate of the interest. Banks typically calculate interest and add it to the end of a certain time period. Interest can be compounded annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and even daily. So, if, for example, if you put $100 into a savings account that pays 5% every quarter, you will earn $5 in interest at the end of the quarter. Of course, you make regular deposits into a savings account, your money will earn more interest. So what about banking fees? Banks profit in part from banking fees. So for example, some banks charge a monthly fee for checking accounts containing less than a certain amount of money. Banks may also charge for bounce checks, paper banking statements, and using an ATM belonging to another bank. The average fee charged for a bank to a non-customer using its automated teller machine, which is an ATM, is $2.50 per transaction. The average fee consumers are sometimes charged by their own banks for using another bank is about $1.57. To avoid or risk banking fees, here are some suggestions. Keep track of your checks that you write and the money in your account to avoid bouncing checks. Consider overdraft protection. This would allow the bank to draw money out of another account, such as your savings account, to cover your checks if there's insufficient funds in your checking account. However, avoid overdraft protection via a credit account because you will have to pay interest. Avoid using ATMs operated by other banks. Use the cash back option offered when you use your debit or credit cards for grocery stores or other locations. And research compare banking options to find some more convenient services. So, when you're choosing a bank, consider the following: the services that you want. So, for example, if you're looking for direct deposit of your paycheck, no interest checking, no fee money orders, do you want a higher interest rate on a savings account or an investment option? You want to consider bank fees. Ask if there are ATM uses fees, overdraft protection fees, fees for going below the minimum balance, and bounce check fees. You want to consider ATM convenience. If you like to use an ATM to perform many of your transactions, can the bank meet your needs? Consider insurance. Are bank deposits insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC? Consider online banking. Internet banking saves times. Simply dial into the bank's computer using your own computer or download information to your hard drive. This service may be free at some banks, while others may charge a fee for basic services. These sometimes in addition There sometimes is an additional fee for making online payments. Consider the customer service. Visit banks you are considering. Are the employees helpful, courteous, and able to answer your questions? And just like everything else, location, location, location. Are there branches close to your home or to your work? So this was all about banks and what they are, how they can help you, and what you need to consider when you're looking for a bank. So now let's jump into what a credit union is. So a credit union is an alternative to a bank. It is cooperative financial institution that is owned and controlled by the people who use its services. The people who use a credit union are its members, and they have something in common, such as where they work, live, or attend church. Because credit unions are not for profit, they provide more desirable rates and fees than banks. At a credit union, a savings account is sometimes called a shared account, while a checking account is called a shared draft account. So, although credit unions are for everyone, the law places some limits on the people they may serve. A credit union's field of memberships could be an employer, church, school, or community. According to the Credit Union National Association, CUNA, there are several ways of finding a credit union you are eligible to join. You can try some of the following. Just ask your boss. Your company may be a sponsor of a credit union or could be a select employee group that has access to a credit union. Many employers offer direct deposit or your payroll to your credit union. You can try polling your family. Does your spouse's employer sponsor a credit union? Most credit unions allow credit union members' families to join. Each credit union, however, may define this differently. At some credit unions, for example, only members of your immediate family are eligible. At others, families may include extended family members such as cousins, uncles, and aunts. Try asking your neighbors. Some credit unions have the community field of membership, which serves a region that's defined by geography rather than by employment or another association. Use the Credit Union National Association's locator. You can visit them at www.cuna.org and use the locator to find a credit union near you. You can call the Credit Union National Association at 1-800-356-9655 and you'll get an electronic message listing the name and telephone number of a person at a credit union league in your state who can help you find and join one. So I hope this helps you understand credit unions a little bit better and how you become a part of that. All right, so now we're going to talk about managing a checking account. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain how to open a checking account, demonstrate how to write a check, demonstrate how to fill out checking account deposit and withdrawal slips, and demonstrate how to use an automated teller machine, which is an ATM. Having a checking account at a bank or financial institution allows you to write checks to pay for goods and services or to get cash. A check is a written order instructing your bank to pay money to an individual or entity. To use checks, you must first open a checking account and make regular deposits into that account. Banks offer several types of checking accounts. Here are some of the most common types of checking accounts. You have a basic checking account, and this is for someone who primarily wants to use checks to pay bills or everyday expenses. To avoid fees, some banks require a low minimum balance. Another checking option is an interest-bearing account, which requires a higher balance, and interest is usually paid monthly. A minimum deposit is typically required to open this type of an account. And you may also want to check into a joint checking account. This is for two or more people who are typically in the same household. But of course, you could check with your financial institution to find out what exactly they offer to you. So to open a checking account, you would visit the financial institution of your choice, speak to a customer service agent about opening the account. So things to bring with you when you open an account, you're going to need two forms of identification. One's going to include a picture of you, and then you're probably either going to need a social security card or money from your first deposit in form of cash or check. Be prepared to fill out information on a signature card, which will remain on file at the bank. The bank uses the card to verify the signature on checks that bear your name. Signature cards typically include your name, your address, a previous address, the type of account, such as a single or joint, and your signature. Once your account is approved, you can make your first deposit. When you open a checking account, the bank will provide temporary checks until you order permanent ones. You can order checks from the bank or from a third-party provider. Plain checks are generally less expensive than those that are fancy. You may have various styles checks from which to choose. For example, some checkbooks come with a duplicate feature. This allows you to keep a carbon copy of the checks you write for your records. The boxes of checks you order will be sent to you in the mail. Several checkbooks or groups of checks are in each box. Your checking account number is the number bank assigns to your checking account, and your bank routing number appears on the check. Your checking account number is important as you make deposits to and withdrawals from your account. The routing number simply identifies your bank. So let's take a look at this particular check that's on your screen right now. And it's pretty much broke down for you. So you would enter the date at the top of the check, write the name of the company or person you are paying money to in the pay to the order of line. At the end of pay to the order line, you're going to write the number amount of the check. So for example, if it's $25 or $48.28, that's where the amount of check goes. That's in that little box. On the dollars line, you're going to write the check amount in words. This confirms the number amount. So for example, $48.28 over 100. Note that you can write the cents as a fraction. If there is a blank space left for you to write in the amount, draw a line out to the end, stopping before the word dollars so no one can add to the amount. So for example, $48.28 over 100 with a line all the way to the word dollars. Write your signature on the line on the lower right corner of the check. In the memo or for section in the bottom, you can write what the check is for. For example, jeans for John or rent. So I am actually going to pull up a sample of a check here. Later on the next slide, we're going to kind of look at that together. But actually, I don't need to because you can see what a check looks like. That is a basic check and what exactly it looks like and how you go about it. So let's take a look at that deposit slip. Deposit slip is written order to your bank instructing it to put funds into your account. You can use a deposit slip to put money such as cash, checks, and money orders into your account. Be sure to endorse or sign any check that has been made payable to you before you deposit it. So on the back of the check, there's a place for you to endorse it or put a signature. Here's what a deposit slip example looks like, and these are going to vary from bank to bank. So first you're going to list the amount of money you want to deposit. Most slips have separate lines for cash and checks. So if, for example, add $30 to cash and $450.55 to check, enter the subtotal. In this case, it's $480.55. Enter any amount you want back. In this case, it's zero. Enter the total. In this case, it's $480.58. Sign the deposit slip. Take the deposit slip and money you want to deposit to the teller at your bank. You can also make deposits using an ATM if you have ATM card. You'll learn more about that later if we cover it. I'm not sure if we're going to cover the ATM lesson, but you can do a lot of this through the ATM banking. So usually I know at my bank, one side is my deposit slip and the other side is my withdrawal slip. So that was all about the deposits. So let's talk about the withdrawal slip. And which is going to be on the next slide. But you're going to be able to, we're going to go over it now, but I'm going to give you time to see it on the next slide. A withdrawal slip is a written order to your bank instructing you to withdraw funds from your account. So here's an example. You're going to list the money you want to withdraw. So for example, $50, sign the withdrawal slip and take the slip to the counter. I mean, it's really, really, really that simple. Avoid writing bad checks. Don't write checks if you don't have enough money in your account. I mean, it's just that plain and simple. Your bank's probably going to charge you a fee if you do, and then you're going to get charged from the other location as well. So it's just not worth it. I'm not going to go over how to use an ATM machine. I think we all kind of understand those. But this was all about writing a check as well as writing a deposit and withdrawal slip. So I kind of got ahead of myself and we went over the writing a deposit and withdrawal slip on the last slide, which was under writing a check. But you can see here, it's pretty self-explanatory. Everything is listed for you. You want to go over writing a check. If you're not sure how to write a deposit or a withdrawal slip out, but this is pretty typical of what they all look like. But I wanted you to actually see these before you, if you have never done this, that way it's not a surprise to you. But definitely check out writing a check so you can get all of the information in regards to the deposit and the withdrawal slip. Okay, so moving right along, and we're going to talk about planning for retirement. This is not something that we all think about, but it should definitely be something that we all think about because this is how we're going to be able to live our lives after the time of the work field. So we are going to talk about planning for retirement. So by the end of this, you're going to have discussed a retirement plan. We're also going to talk about Social Security, which is going to be on the next slide, and setting some retirement goals. Most of us don't want to work forever, so therefore preparing for retirement is an important part of financial planning. Today's retirees fund their retirement using Social Security benefits, pension benefits, and personal savings and investments. How you decide to invest your money depends on your needs, philosophy, age, goals, and other factors. So let's take some time to assess your retirement goals. So here's some goals to think about. When do you want to retire? What do you want to do after you retire? Where do you want to live? How much money do you want to have available to you? Take time to think about your retirement and how you want to prepare for it. Read about different investments to familiarize yourself with the terms used. If you don't have a lot of money to make significant investments, consider starting with a savings account or company savings plan. Eventually, you might diversify your investment portfolio based on your retirement goals and attitude towards risk. Any type of investment comes with a certain amount of risk. The higher the risk, the more you stand to gain financially. The lower the risk, the less you stand to gain. However, high risk does not guarantee high return on your money. It can mean significant losses if the economy is on a downturn. If you are young and single, you can probably afford to take more risk than someone who is married with children. If you're in your 60s, you might look for safer investments. With careful planning and smart investing, you can achieve financial security, independence, and enjoyment in your later years. So, we're going to talk about the 7 retirement planning tips. Securing enough money to cover your retirement years takes planning and discipline. As you work on the retirement plan, take the following steps. Estimate your future expenses. Think about your expenses that may be reduced or added. For example, you may pay off your mortgage, but gain more medical expenses or add expense for travel. Decide where your retirement income will come from: savings, investments, Social Security or company pension plan, or rental income. Estimate your yearly retirement income. Your lifestyle will determine how much you will need. As a rule, you will need 60 to 80% of your gross household income today to maintain the same lifestyle after you retire. Don't forget about inflation. Inflation is the steady increase in the prices of goods and services. It can diminish your buying power, savings, and investment earnings. So, for example, if the interest on your investments is 4% and the inflation rate is 2%, you are essentially earning 2% on your investment. Become a knowledgeable investor. Don't invest in anything you don't understand. There are many resources that can help you, including books, the internet, and a financial advisor. Create an investment plan. If you are young and not afraid of risk, you might consider riskier investment strategies. As you get closer to retirement age, you might consider less risky investment options. Regularly review your investment portfolio to make sure you can meet your goals. So that is all about planning for your retirement. On the next slide, we are going to talk about what Social Security is and how you can get involved in that. Okay, we are now going to talk about Social Security and some of the benefits of Social Security. When you work, your employer withholds Social Security and Medicare taxes from your paycheck. Your employer matches that amount, sends the taxes to the Internal Revenue Service, and reports your earnings to Social Security. If you're self-employed, you pay your own Social Security taxes when you file your tax return, and the IRS reports your earnings. As you work and pay taxes, you can earn credits that help make you eligible for future Social Security benefits. How many credits you earn per year depends on how much money you make. In 2014, you receive a credit for each $1,200 of income up to 4 credits per year. This does not apply to the money earned as domestic or farm worker. So let's take a look at the Social Security's website. And that was the whole reason why I got on here. And this allows you to start a personalized retirement benefit for yourself, opting out of certain types of things, checking your application, setting up direct deposit, requesting replacement Social Security cards, and things along those lines. So you can most definitely create an account, which is free to you. So let's go into that page and see what it gives you. I don't think I've ever created an account before. So I'm going to come in here and we can fill this out together. So if you want to, then you can fill it out with me. I'm just creating a very simple account. And I'm going to see what happens with it. Okay, and now I'm going to choose some form of an email. No, maybe later. All right, so that gets me in, and let's see what it does for me. And then it's, excuse me. Now it's going to ask me a bunch of important credit information. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure. So I'm going to move forward. They're going to send me a text message. And you can kind of go along with me. I'm waiting for that to come through. Okay, so a username. Oops. So we're just kind of doing this together. Okay. So of course your answers are going to be different than mine. All right, well, we'll just add a 3 and a 9 onto that. Okay. Dot, dot, dot. Here's my terms. All right, so this just tells me a little bit about my information. Welcome. Your Social Security statement. Estimated benefit at full age of 67. See how they came up with that. I'm curious. So if I retire early, I'm only looking at this amount. At full retirement age, I'm looking at this amount. Interesting. Let's go into the earning. Okay, so this tells me how much I've earned. It's kind of sad. Yep, I believe that. Replacement. So there is no replacement documents. Okay. So that is how you get yourself in, and you saw how easy it was for me. I'm in there. It tells me how much my benefit will be at 67. I can get a copy of all this stuff and so forth and so on. So I hope you have a better understanding of all of that. Let me get out of there. And if you're not sure how to obtain a Social Security card, this tells you the information that you need. There's 3 types of cards. And you can also go to this location to replace your card, and so forth. All right, so planning for retirement. So as you prepare for retirement, keep these tips in mind. Develop financial goals. Be prudent. Watch out for people who are out to get your money. Recognize an investor, and assets before paying bills and other obligations. Try to set aside money each month. Try to pay off your credit card debt. Try to get a job with strong retirement plan. So this was all about your retirement. So I hope you have a better understanding of that as well. Here is a hard copy of those retirement goals that I just kind of went through pretty quickly. But take a moment just to kind of review these for yourself. You can pause this video so you can read some of this and get the idea of what some of these goals are going to be.
Have you ever avoided checking your bank account balance because you were just too scared to look? Have you ever had trouble sleeping because you were thinking about bills or money? You're not alone. In fact, a 2018 survey showed that 44% of people reported money as their number one source of stress, beating out personal relationships and job-related challenges. Financial anxiety is a feeling of worry, fear, or unease about your finances. It can be caused by a variety of different reasons, not just a lack of funds. Sometimes it's brought on by other forms of anxiety, like generalized anxiety disorder or math anxiety. It can also be caused by feeling unprepared or maybe just not understanding terms or numbers. The most common reaction to financial anxiety is avoidance. If you can't see your finances, you don't know how bad they actually are, right? However, avoiding your finances instead of managing them can cause them to worsen, which in turn causes more anxiety. So how do you overcome it and break the cycle? Make a plan. What is it about your finances that gives you anxiety? Lack of income? Too much debt? Or maybe you're secure now, but you're worried about the future. Identify what you're worried about and lay out a plan. Sometimes just having a plan in place can help to lessen your anxiety. Exposure. This one may seem hard since a common reaction is avoidance. However, just reading finance articles or learning a few finance terms each day might help to ease your worries. Think positive. The first step to overcoming something is to believe that you actually can overcome it. Negative thoughts and words only continue anxious thoughts and can even make them worse. Acknowledge your anxiety in writing. Write about what exactly worries you and when you experience those feelings. The simple act of acknowledging may be the first step to overcoming it. Employ relaxation techniques. Stress and anxiety, even financial anxiety, can have physical symptoms as well as emotional. Counteract these symptoms by trying some stress-reducing activities like yoga or meditation. If you're struggling with financial anxiety, you are not alone and you can overcome it.
GCF Global, creating opportunities for a better life.
Okay, so living within your means. So, what does it mean to live within your means? Simply put, this means cutting your expenses so you have money left over at the end of each month. By carefully budgeting your expenses, you should have a significant amount of money left over each month. But wait, before you rush out to spend all that extra cash, take some time to think about the future. So, saving for the future, make sure you have a budget plan, clear financial goals, and a plan for cutting expenses. Then begin setting some money aside for the future. At the very least, you should set aside 10% of your monthly gross income for your retirement. In most cases, this money will go into a 401k plan, which defers taxes until after retirement. Don't stop with the retirement plan. There are many other reasons to save as much money as possible. Save for a down payment on a house or car, college or rainy day, or something to reward yourself. Saving money really pays off. It makes much more sense to save the money to buy things rather than to rent items or buy them on credit. Credit is not free money. You will pay dearly for the option to pay for something over time. Credit cards can be convenient. They are necessary to rent a hotel room, rent a car, or put a deposit on an airline ticket. However, credit cards get millions of people into trouble every day. In theory, they are great. We pay a little money interest for the privilege of spending payments out over months or years, but In reality, we pay a lot of money for that convenience. Let's imagine that you've just bought a fancy TV that cost $1,000. Depending on how long you take to pay off the card balance, you could spend hundreds of dollars in interest. Avoid renting consumer goods. The idea of renting a new TV may seem like a great idea. After all, you don't need any money up front, and in many cases, you don't even need to have good credit. Before you rent something like a TV, though, figure out how many months it will take for you to save the money to buy it. Then look at how many months before your rental payments could buy it. In the end, you will see that renting consumer goods and furniture is seldom a good idea. Stay away from businesses that offer cash advances on your next paycheck. This is never a good idea. These places let you borrow against your paycheck, but they charge you a lot of money for that privilege. This is yet another reason to plan your budget carefully. Check your credit score. The credit rating tracks the state of your credit. It includes information on how much you owe, any loans you have defaulted on, and even late payments. Unfortunately, your credit rating can influence far more than your ability to borrow money. It can also influence your ability to get health insurance, and in some cases can keep you from getting a job. So just watch out for that. And again, that credit rating comes from Equifax, Experience, and TransUnion. Now that you have created a budget and have checked out your credit rating and have created a particular plan for paying off any debt, start thinking about what this means for a job search. And of course, this will go with the next slide, but you can see here all about being able to living within your means and not spending over what you are able to do.
A higher paying job initially seems like a great thing, but it might also come with some hidden expenses that can really start to add up over time. Let's take a look at a few of these costs that you'll want to consider when making your final decision. Will you have to move? Some job changes will require you to pick things up and relocate. If this is the case, you'll want to consider what your new rent or housing costs will be. These often eat up a pretty big chunk of your monthly income, so you'll want to factor in this change before accepting a new job. Don't forget the actual expenses of moving too, like renting a truck or hiring a moving company. Do you need a ride? You'll want to think about how you'll get to and from work. Will you drive yourself or use public transportation? Both options come with their own set of expenses. Owning a car includes maintenance and gas, while taking the bus or metro costs money as well. Will you need new clothes? Some jobs have a particular dress code. If this is the case, you'll want to shop around and see how much a new wardrobe would cost. Some employers provide uniforms, but if you need to invest in something like business clothes, that can add up pretty quickly. What are the benefits? Be sure to look into the health insurance, dental insurance, and retirement plans of a job. Knowing the value of your benefits, or the cost of not having them, can help you make a better decision about a job. Some jobs may pay well but might not include benefits. Other jobs might have a more modest salary but include excellent benefits. After thinking these over, hopefully you have a better idea of whether or not a certain job is a good fit for you.
GCF Global, creating opportunities for a better life.
Okay, so in conclusion, making sure that you save money is key for anything, whether it's a retirement plan, paying off those credit cards. Need to put some money back for yourself just to save for your future. So that is going to be my 2 cents worth. But we're going to take this quiz together. This is a money basics quiz to go over what we've talked about today. So we're going to take it together. So whatever I get wrong is what I get wrong, I guess. A regular checking account, this allows you to write checks. Obviously, it's not going to allow you to borrow money because it's already your money. And some checking accounts give you interest, but I'm going to go with allows you to write checks. In general, how much debt, not including rent or mortgage, should you have? So I'm going to say the less the better. So you shouldn't have any more than 20% of your take home income, in my opinion. We'll see what it comes out to be. A 401k is a company retirement savings plan. So you're going to get that from your company, or perhaps maybe something you've gotten on your own. When you rent a place to live, you typically, let's see, don't have to worry about cleaning up, don't have to deal with a landlord, don't have to sign a rental agreement. You typically do have to sign um, have to sign a rental or lease agreement, and this is if you're renting. Comparative shopping. We didn't go over shopping, but I'm pretty sure most of us know how that goes. It means checking prices at several locations is comparative shopping. A monthly mortgage payment consists of taxes, insurance payment, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, principal, insurance, and taxes. I'm going to go with principal, insurance, taxes, and interest is what I'm going to go with. A CD is a agency that insures your money. We're going to try that. What is credit? Um, it's a contractual agreement that allows you to get a loan. What is a good way to get rid of a bad habit related to money? Replace it with a good habit. And I think we even talked about that. When you lease a car, you typically are not limited to the number of miles. Not true. Have a higher down payment. Not true. Are limited in the area in which you can drive. Are limited to the number of miles. Social Security provides support when you die, retire, all of the above. Chapter 7, we did not talk about bankruptcies. People want easy, debtors can pay back. Organization, people are temporarily unable to pay their debts. We're going to go with that. Oh, I've got 10 out of 12. So which two did I miss? A CD is a type of savings account, which we did not talk about that. And chapter 7, debtors who can't pay their debts. I read it wrong. I thought it said can. So that was our quiz that we took. Hopefully you did a better job than I did. But I got a 10 out of 12. I don't think that's too terribly bad. And I'm going to have some money saving tips for you on the next slide. And that should pretty much wrap up our class. Okay, so I just got online and I typed in money saving tips. And I'm going to go to 20 simple money saving tips. And it looks like it's brought by Dave Ramsey. And so here are his. So say goodbye to debt is your number one money saving tip. Cut down on your groceries. Cancel automatic subscriptions and memberships, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, gyms. Buy generic. Not everything has to be name brand. Cut ties with cable. Get rid of cable and satellite and go to maybe some of these stream membership channels that you're doing instead. Save money automatically. Have your bank transfer funds from checking and savings in between those to save you some money so you're not paying fees for direct depositing. Spend extra or unexpected income wisely. So any kind of bonuses that you may get, anything like that, you want to spend those wisely. Reduce energy costs, taking shorter showers, fixing leaking pipes, washing your clothes in cold tap water, installing dimmer switches, using some of those LED light bulbs, unsubscribe from emails, any kind of special offers, things that might want you to spend money, unsubscribe yourself from those. Borrow, don't buy. Need a tree trimmer for the weekend? Ask your neighbor if you can borrow that. Don't buy it, just go borrow it. Pack a lunch and eat at home. According to the Bureau of Labor, you can save all kinds of money if you're doing that. I am not good at that. I eat the same breakfast every morning and I purchase that. But anything beyond that, I do eat at home. Ask about discounts when you're at places. AAA membership, if you have one of those. Maybe you can get a discount. Students, seniors, teachers, military, anywhere you can go. I know that my husband and I, when we're out and about, if it's a special occasion, anniversary, birthday, he always brings it up and says, "Do you guys give anything for birthdays?" And lo and behold, 9 times out of 10, they do. Anniversaries. Hey, it's our anniversary. Do you give anything for anniversaries? And again, 9 times out of 10, they're like, "Oh, yeah. You're going to get a free bottle of wine because today's your anniversary." So ask about discounts. Take advantage of your retirement savings plans. So if you have 401ks, take full advantage of that. Lower your cell phone bill. Try to, and I'm bad about this as well. I just actually purchased a new phone, so I'm making high payments on the phone itself. But maybe try going to a different phone plan, things that you don't need. Try a spending freeze. You're not going to spend any money over a certain amount of time. Do it yourself everything. If you can make your own backsplash, do that. If you can, I mean, if you're not familiar with Pinterest by now, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it shows you how to do everything on there. Fancy lighting fixtures. Doing it yourself can save you a lot of money. Skip the coffee shop. This is painful, but you don't need that daily $5 latte, and that's where I'm at. I don't need my daily $5 McDonald's. I don't have to have that. I can do something different. The library is your friend, and I'm not just saying that because I work here. Everything you come in contact with at the library is free to you. It doesn't cost you anything. So why pay for that movie when you can borrow it from here? Why go buy that book when you can borrow it from here? Download the audio. Try a staycation. Don't go anywhere. Just stay home. I live on a lake. There's no reason for me to pay all kinds of money to go somewhere where I already live there. Sell something that doesn't bring you joy. Start selling your stuff. If it's stuff you're not using, it's sitting in the corner. I'm one of those, oh, it might fit me in 10 years, people. It's not going to fit you in 10 years. Just go ahead and get rid of it. Get that money now. You can stop the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck with a simple secret. Make a zero-based budget before the month begins. A budget is all about being intentional. It helps you create a plan so you can see where your money is going and find out how much you can actually save each month. When you make a zero-based budget, you're giving every single dollar a name or assigning it a job to do before you save or spend it. Remember, it really doesn't matter how much money you make. It matters how much you spend and save the money you make. So these were all really good advice coming from the Dave Ramsey website. And I will have that on our credits. So if you want to go check that out or anything else that they may have. So this is all about 20 simple tips to save you some money. All right, so that is it. Our class is over. Hopefully, you have a little bit better understanding on how to manage some of that money. I know I could use some of this advice I'm dishing out. I've got credit cards that are coming out of everywhere, so I could probably use to figure out a way to eliminate some of that. Maybe I should stop eating at my fast food place of choice every day to save myself $20 a week. And believe it or not, that all ends up adding up. So thank you for being a part of the class today. If it wasn't for you, there'd be no reason for us to have this class. So thank you. If you have any further questions or anything else you would like to say to me, you can reach me at the information at the beginning of the class. So thanks again. Take a deep breath. You're all done. You did a fabulous job. And if you can start to save yourself some money, then this class was all worth it for you. Thank you. I'd like to thank the following websites and their information for the class today. If it was not for these websites and their information, we would not have been able to have class today. So thank you so much for that.